Facebook world, what's happening? We have a very special treat for you guys today. As you can see in front of us, we have one of the most important New Yorkers ever, Jay-Z. Make some noise for Jay-Z. No, guys, obviously we're joking. We have a special Facebook Live session with us today. Normally, obviously, we give you guys rappers and singers and different artists, but today we invited somebody from the mayor's office, Mr. Dan Zarrilli. And for all the people out there, can you just give yourself a brief intro, your name, your title, and why we're here today?
Yeah, sure. My name is Dan Zarrilli. I work for Mayor Bill de Blasio. I lead our climate change programs for City Hall here in New York City.
And obviously, you know, we're in a time right now where climate change and environmental things and pollution are, you know, they're a big topic, not only in, you know, in social websites, but also in the pop culture world. So how do you think all this, you know, how does it affect young people, especially the ones in New York City?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've been through a lot here in New York City, and even just going back a couple short years, Hurricane Sandy showed the destructive nature of what's really happening with our climate. You know, 44 New Yorkers' lives were lost, $19 billion in damages. It's a real growing threat. Sea levels continue to rise. It's getting hotter. It's something that is going to be part of your life for, you know, the foreseeable future. And we need to get our greenhouse gases under control, and we need to prepare for the future and make sure we're heading off those risks. Definitely,
and it's something, you know, it's not only going to affect us who are here today, but our children, our children's children, our grandchildren. Are there some initiatives and ways that young people can get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a huge effort going on out of the mayor's office, really across the whole region, to do a couple things. And really, one of the reasons why we're here today is really to just share the message about how to get involved, to be aware of what the risk is, to not be you know, overly frightened by what's going on. I think there's a hopeful message that we can take action and we can make the world better, and we can go into the future in a better way. But when it comes down to it, we need to be aware of what's going on. And you know, I would encourage people to check out our Green NYC website. There's ways that you can participate directly, and some very simple things like reusable bottles and you know, setting your thermostats, but also just to, you know, in a broader sense, to be aware of what's happening in the world. This is a global challenge. We are tackling some things locally here in New York City, and it really is going to require everybody for it to be a success.
Definitely. I think it's great that all the young people here are, you know, even taking notice and taking aware that this is an issue, especially for us here, because we love to attend, like, the Governor's Ball festivals, the Randall's Island festivals. We love to just be outside in the city. But what are some of the other things that are really, you know, are factors in climate change that, you know, maybe the young folks don't know about?
Yeah, sure. So we've already had a foot of sea level rise in New York City since 1900.
Wow.
It's already happening. And so as we look forward to the future, we expect that there might be as much as 2.5 feet of sea level rise on top of that before the 2050s. We're going to have more days above 90 degrees by the 2050s, and it's going to make New York City's climate more like Birmingham, Alabama in the 2050s. So there's some real impacts, and that has an impact on your health, that has an impact on every service and public service that you rely on in your day-to-day lives. It's just incredibly important that we're aware of these risks, but not to be overly apocalyptic about it.
Right.
We're doing things about it.
Okay.
We are investing to reduce flood risk. We are investing to make sure that we are reducing the urban heat island effect here in New York City. We're taking action to make sure that we're protecting New Yorkers all across the city, in all 5 boroughs, across our 520 miles of shoreline, to make sure that we are taking the opportunity now before the threats get too bad to reduce that risk.
That's awesome. Because I really, you know, I've been talking to a lot of young people here, and people have really been enjoying, like, the new waterfront in Brooklyn, all the beaches in New York. Rockaway Beach was definitely been very well built up. So I think these things are really on their minds. Are there some other initiatives outside of flooding prevention and you know, hurricane prevention, things like that we should know about?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, there's a couple of things where we're trying to do our part to reduce our own contribution to the causes of climate change. The city's made a commitment to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2050. That's going to take a huge effort to take the carbon out of our energy supply, transition to electric vehicles, take the organics out of our waste stream. So there's lots of different ways that people can be part of that solution as well, in making sure that we are really taking the right steps to get carbon out of our atmosphere, contribute to the global solution against climate change, but really to be aware of the local risk. And it's about flooding, it's about heat, it's about sea level rise. all of those are going to continue to become more frequent, more intense. We're going to see more of it, like we've seen in Louisiana, like we just saw with Hurricane Matthew, and certainly what we saw in Hurricane Sandy. Those are the kind of things that we're going to see more of, and we need to be better prepared for it. So we're investing to improve our infrastructure, but a big part of it is more than infrastructure. It's about people and making sure that we are thinking about the public health impacts and investing to reduce the risk of heat waves and the urban heat island effect. All of that really has a role to play, and we want your help.
Great. I'm sure there's a lot of young people out there now that also want to get involved, maybe like on an internship level or a volunteer level. Are there ways that students and young people can get involved that way?
Absolutely. We run a program called NYC Service out of the Mayor's Office where you can sign up and we match volunteers with opportunities. And so I encourage everyone to really take an interest in what's going on in your community and find that thing where you want to step up and volunteer and help.
Awesome. Yeah, every semester we do invite several university students to come speak to us, and they often ask like what they can do, how can they get involved, or they know that they do want to help the city and help the world, but they don't know exactly what department. But I think we can encourage them to at least try. Maybe they'll find what they like in your office, or maybe in a different sector of the mayor's office.
That's right. There's so many different ways to volunteer and get involved. And check out NYC Service or get involved with a local organization in your own community.
Awesome. Mrs. Zarrilli, thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. Are there any last words for the people of New York and the people of the world, actually?
This is the greatest city in the world, and we want to make sure it stays that way. So we need everyone's help. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. See you next time.